Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Kuri, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode the reason why you're better than her. And this has been inspired by a message that I got, and somebody was saying that, how is it that I'm in this relationship and nothing is working? And when I speak to her, she's always talking down at me. And what's the reason why that's happening? And it so happens that I was coaching somebody last week and we're talking about this. And, sometimes when I'm coaching, anyway, most of the guys that are within reignite men know this, that when I'm trying to get a point across, I'll put a point across with a story. And I remember I started saying this story in my head. I was thinking, no, don't say this story, because it was kind of a bit embarrassing. But at the same time, it was someone that sort of brought the point home. And so it started off when I was in school, and I was a massive cricket fan. So before that, I had played for state, for example, for you guys in states, and for the guys in the UK, I played for county. And at the time, I was in boarding school. So we had sort of coaches that stayed within the school. So they their own quarters, students in their own quarters. And I told this guy that I was one of the coaches that I really want to get good at batting, and I wanted to put the time to get good at batting, because I was sort of middle order batsman. What that means is that I can contribute in terms of putting the runs, but I didn't really have good technique. So I need to work on my technique so I can really cause damage when I'm putting up the scores. So he said, yeah, I think you've got the attributes and you've got the temperament to be very good, and I can show you how to do that. So he said, well, in order to do that, after training or before training, you can come early, and then we'll run a few, or throw some balls at you and coach you. After training, you can do so. And then on some weekends and some other days, we can just continue working on that technique. So we started spending a lot of time together. And initially, everybody noticed. Other guys tried to join in, which was fine. We were all now had a group of guys that were trying to get good. And then over a period of time, some guys just sort of gave up. But over a period of time, that was now sort of 3-4 months, we're just continuously working at my technique. And on our first cricket game, it showed. I went and then scored a century, and that was my first time I batted for a century. So again, I'd come in at third, scored a century, and it's a big deal in cricket when you do so. So it was like my first time, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's working. And some people then tried to start joining us in our training, which was perfectly fine. But then again, you had to put in some work with it. So there was this sort of, they wanted to enjoy themselves, because we're teenagers, we're between sort of 14, 15 at the time. So the dedication and discipline wasn't there. So I was just dedicated and disciplined because I was just a cricket nerd. So that was, for me, I took it like I take this subject of a sexless relationship. So I was completely obsessed with it. So I was literally putting the hours in, and as I was doing so, I just got better and better. And it became a very painful experience, because my teammates, the more runs I started putting on the board, the more I got good and contributing to the team and contributing to the wins. There was a bit of envy that started getting into our squad. And the envy was mainly because of the other top order batsmen that before they were the top guys in batsmen. But now all of a sudden there's this guy who wasn't the top order batsman, who was actually got better technique, but had put the hours in. And over a period of time, they started, the guys that were top order batsmen started spreading rumors that me and the other coach were gay, or he was taking advantage of me or something. And it was really hurtful things, because there was nothing like that. It was a good friendship that we developed, and it was a coach player type relationship. And it was such a cruel thing for somebody to say, but it was the fact that they looked at themselves, and they looked at the fact that they couldn't discipline to learn the skill, and they didn't have the dedication to become better. Instead of doing that, they chose to discredit what I was doing in order for them to feel better about themselves. And that was more to, I want to stop you from being disciplined. Now, I'm saying this because I want you to feel bad about the discipline that you've got. I want you to feel bad about the relationship that you've got, so that if I can force you to stop, then therefore you won't be better than me. And that was now thinking back, looking back from now, that's exactly what was going on. And I'm saying this because this is exactly what's going on in your relationships with your wives. That in order for her to enjoy the freedom, the protection, and the security that you provide as a provider, you've had to work really hard. And some of you guys, you're six-figure earners, you're within 5% of the population, you earn really well. And in order to do so, you've had to develop the skill to earn that, to command that amount of money, but also the skills of communication, networking, and being a leader. So you've had to work hard at it, and it's not something that you've worked at it and then you've stopped. It's something that you're continuously learning in order to continuously improve. In fact, I was having a conversation recently with some men in a men's group, and one guy came out and said $88,000 is not enough for any man in America who's got 2 kids. It's not enough. You have to be striving to be better. And some of the guys that were sort of earning lower, they were really put aside by it, But really, what you're saying was that you need earning $80,000. Yes, it's really good, but you have to be striving for more. And this is generally most men, especially the guys in Thriving Tribesmen that listen to our episodes, we're always trying to push you to get better and be the better version of who you are. So you have to be better than the guy you were yesterday. So, and when you take this mindset and you bring it within your relationship, and I know a lot of you guys, there's other things that have come into play in terms of you've been supplicating towards it, and therefore it's caused a sexless relationship. But the other bit is that when you are paying the bills, you're doing everything that you can to provide for the family, and you're doing everything to make sure that your family is good, that also she can take it as a problem. So he feels like because she's not contributing the same amount as you are, and the fact that she's not commanding respect as much as you are, she feels insignificant, and therefore she feels a need to bring you back to her level. And this is where you see where when she speaks to you in a demeaning way in order to bring you down to what would be her level. So she'll when you conduct yourself around the house, she'll try and belittle you with certain statements and belittle you with certain behaviors in a ways that so you second guess yourself, you doubt yourself. And again, this is why some of you guys feel like you don't even know yourself, especially when you're in the house. Like the guy who's in your house and the guy who's operating outside of the house, it's like you got this bipolar type thing where you're killing it outside of the household. You are demonstrating good leadership. You're going for it in terms of your career and getting better, or your entrepreneurship. You're going through levels pretty quickly. But in terms of you going levels in the household, in terms of your relationship or in your leadership, there's somebody who's consistently undermining you. Just like, there's using words for you to second guess and for you to feel a level of shame for wanting to up-level your relationship, especially now that you're trying to up-level your relationship. Think about it. Every time you're trying to talk about it, or every time you're trying to bring it up or do anything to move it to the next level, there's a level of you being shamed as this sex pest, somebody who's only about sex, when really it's way more than that, than sex. So again, you have to think about it. This is one of the things that, because she's not willing to do anything and not move forward and be disciplined enough to grow, she's going to use those tactics in order for you to second guess yourself. And you have to be aware of this. And one of the things you can do to fix this, especially to fix this, is to actually, I kid you not, is to ignore it. And when I say ignore it, I don't mean that she says it, then you just don't say anything. You ignore it as in you don't register it as, it's like when somebody who's a bum comes to me and tells me that I'm an asshole. I really don't care because there's somebody I don't know who's a bum. And I think the other bit as well is, especially the other client when I spoke to him, is that you have to own it. If in her reality she feels like she needs to call you an asshole in order for her to feel better about herself, because especially if she's trying to discredit who you are and what you're trying to do, I think owning it and saying, yep, I am the asshole for really trying to push our relationship in the right direction. So if that's what makes you feel good and makes you feel better, and in fact, if that's what makes you feel better in order for us to move forward in our relationship, I agree, that's what I am. And again, it's one of those like 8 Mile when Eminem said, "Yeah, I'm a trailer trash dude. I'm all this." He took all the stereotypes that the guys would have used against him, and he owned them, and therefore it removed power from the other person as well. So I know it's easier said than done. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, you can go to Thriving Tribesmen Instagram. Then you can ask some questions, and I can make an episode that is tailor-made for your relationship. And so that's how I'll be able to grow and at least teach you more about this. In this moment, I'm sort of giving you a 80,000 sky view onto this topic, but it's something that I think if you bring it into your relationship, where when she speaks to you, she's sort of undermining everything that you're doing that is in contribution to the relationship, you can really own it and say, yeah, if that's the view that you're seeing it, I own it. And if that's what it takes for you to engage with the relationship, I'm going to own it. Yes, I'm selfish. Yes, I am sex pest. Yes, I'm whatever you say I am, in order for it. So, and I wish I had this mindset when the guys were saying I'm gay and that I was some sort of, it called me fag boy at the time, which is pretty hurtful because I thought that was really mean. And luckily it wasn't these times of the day, because that guy would have got arrested and it would have been really, really bad. But to think about it, if I just owned it and said, yeah, that's exactly what's going on, I mean, I don't even know if that would have been effective. It would have probably caused a lot of chaos. But I think I wish I handled it a little bit different, where I removed the power of that, because it really did affect me. It even affected the way I was training, because I had this internal resistance to go training. But I was disciplined and I wanted to get better. So that overrode any emotion that was sort of any internal conflict I had in remaining disciplined and in my training. In fact, actually pushed me to get better, and I became the top batsman within my team, and then in the county as well, or state, in terms of state. So again, it's one of those things that you have to actually start looking at some of these interactions that you're having and seeing, is she trying to undermine you? Especially when it comes to you trying to solve things within your relationship. And if she is, she's probably more comfortable pointing fingers and undermining you than because she knows when it means she needs to engage, it's going to be very uncomfortable, and it's going to bring to light the fact that she's not doing anything, or at least contributing to the relationship. So thank you very much, guys. I'll be speaking to you guys soon. Take care.